We're excited to have with us some very good producers. And for me to be able to introduce the next speaker, that is Andreas Erhler. You're going to say a lot more about all your products and all you're doing and all of that. But he is around 60 years old, has 2 kids. They're grown-ups now, so they're not children anymore. Out of the nest, I hope. And you studied in industrial engineering during your career, and you're focused on different developments. Now he is CSO and MD, and in 1918 you took over all of the shares in the company, Multifilm, and you're based out of different places. So, Andreas, I would like to hear more, and they are here to hear what you have to tell them about Multifilm. So the stage is yours. Warm welcome for Andreas.
Thank you, Cecile. Now, this is the first time that somebody is of the opinion that I need a microphone, that somebody understands me. Usually I do it without. So maybe you have to turn it down. Good. Yeah, Multifilm, a company and a product I came across in 2018, and I was so excited that I said, I have to get this company. And I would like to introduce quickly our company and then go deeper into the products. First of all, we do not sell blinds. We sell systems to reactivate to energy-saving products for commercial buildings. We don't do B2C a lot. We do mostly commercial buildings, and it's all about energy saving and improving workplaces from heat and glare. So I always get a little bit angry when people say we make blinds. No, we have specific systems to have a goal, and this is to improve the workplace and the buildings. We have several locations in Germany with our product, but the main production, this is what I wanted to share. We are close to Dresden, maybe you know that, from the German footprint. We are a very traditional company since 35 years. We have a old actually textile factory after the turn from, or after reunification actually, the old owner has established his factory there in East Germany in an old textile factory. And there we produce specifically with 2 very big machines, a 900-ton and 550-ton press. We produce a product with about 40 skilled people. They are all there since many, many years and have a lot of experience. And we have a couple of sales offices all over Germany to cater for the market. We're not, in this respect, we're not only selling Multifilm products there, but also add some other product ranges to satisfy our customers. Coming to the technology, I always call it the dark side of the sun, because there are certain issues also which we don't like about the sun. We have, of course, on a typical sunny day, we have the UV issue. Multifilm has I always write 100, it's only 99% UV protection on that side. We have, of course, the visible light. As you know, here, for us important is the glare. Multifilm offers nearly 100%, actually 100% glare protection. You see it also outside on our sample, what we can achieve. And an interesting part, of course, we go deeper into here, is our heat protection and how the issue with the heat works. You also know that there are European laws and regulations about workplaces. So this is our key issue here. Whether you have a north-facing office, west, east, or south-facing office, there are certain values which should not be overstepped. And I'm sure you are aware that I would say 80% of the building owners on this globe and in Europe operate illegally. The workplaces, because they will all not fulfill the regulations which are actually in place for workplaces. What is it all about? Well, if the sun comes through a normal window, it hits usually something in the room, a floor, a carpet, a furniture piece, and these sunbeams would then actually create the heat in this room. I'm sure there are people who can explain that much more scientifically, but this is very simple. The moment you have something there, it will actually absorb the heat and turns it into temperature. Now, the normal in Europe, you have about 800 watt per square meter. We see later a sample actually of Saudi Arabia. There is actually 2,800 watt per square meter. I think much more intensive. But in Europe, about 800 watt per square meter. And on the average situation, you will see that about 60% of the heat energy would actually come into the room and turns that into temperature, and therefore we need more energy to cool it down and to regulate the climate in the room. Now with multifilm, if we have the application, we are able to reflect the majority of the sunbeams out, so that actually only 1% of the direct transmission of the sun comes in the room. And of course there is heat generated in between the window and the multifilm product. And the multifilm product itself also absorbs some temperature, but overall, that is a substantial reduction of the energy in the building. Yeah, how do we do that? What is it all about? We have a product. It's a film, a multi-layer film, 2-3-layer film. Every layer has a different function. So the outside function is the reflecting part. And we have some stabilization materials, and also the inside would then be the part who dims the light. So all of this are put together, but this product, as it is, cannot be used really in an application. It is a very thin material. It's very wobbly, you would say. And so you can't do anything with that directly in a blind system. So the first thing we do, we give a certain piquet structure. We do that with a press, in that case a 900-ton press, under 180, 200 degree. And it will then get the structure and more stable texture. And it has also the effect that there would be no direct reflection, because you could not use this typical film. The colleague here also would know it. You cannot use these typical window films directly on the window, because the reflection is also a risk in certain ways. So we do actually neutralize that with our piquet pressing. But still, the material is not stable enough to really make to work on it. So we have a patented multi-wave procedure. We do a pleating, and this pleating stabilizes the film. You can choose between 40 and 100 millimeter pleating, and that gives, first of all, a very nice optic and it's a design feature, but also it gives a much more stable feature to the product, and now we can make blind systems out of it. What we also have special is we can weld the foils. You have very often windows, like for example, one of our specialties are airport towers. So we have very often windows which are more than 8 meters height, or also in hotel lobbies we have windows which are very high. So there actually we have to find ways to connect the films, and we have an ultrasound welding system which allows us to make very big projects also in that respect. The feature, the benefit number one, the heat protection. The glasshouse effect I have explained. It saves, the bottom line is, it saves 30% of energy, as we have seen. I don't know what, I didn't understand all Norwegian, but in our calculation actually, that we calculate about 30-35% of energy saving from air condition costs, depending from the country and the intensity of the sun. We'll see that sample later. That's number one effect. Energy saving, heat protection, and as I state also here on that chart, yes, there are, especially in Germany, you have these outside lamellas, I don't know how to call the jalousies, which is very popular there. Somebody invented them and finds them sensible. You don't. That's why you have your product, your SIP product. But we always have to fight against this product, the outside jalousie in Germany and in the countries Austria and Switzerland. But in most of the cases, on a sunny day, the moment you have wind, it goes anyhow up because of the wind protection. And then usually we sell these customers a second time. In the second round, we sell the multifilm. So they just invested into one of these jalousie systems outside, and then a windy day, a sunny day, and there we are. And they have the same problem. So heat protection, number one feature. Glare protection, very significant. So if you have a building already, and the people, you know it yourself, if you have a workplace and the sun comes permanently, you love the sun, you even pay money to fly there where the sun is there, but you don't want to have it on the office on your computer screen. So glare is a real issue. And Multifilm gives here a complete glare protection. You can sit directly on the window with your screen, any direction, and there would be no glare. That's significant, especially when it comes to workplace. You find very often, we see that example later, where the customer, this was the key point, glare actually, not heat, it was glare, where they had an issue. Something which not everybody has on the radar, but actually the bigger effect, surprisingly, the bigger effect is actually for energy saving in the winter. If you have a side-guided system and you consequently ensure that the multifilm blind would be down, you have an isolation effect and improves the U value of the room. That means outside cold, inside you heat, and there you have an additional gap which gives you the heating energy saving. Sounds funny, but is reality. We found that out. Small sidestep, I explained it in the lobby before. We had a project in Liechtenstein, Switzerland, on a building, and we did the calculations with the ESPO software, and the customer actually wanted a multifilm because of the summer effect of the glare and heat on one side of the building. But when we did the calculations and put all data into the system, there came results out which we couldn't understand. And I sent the engineer 3 times back to redo it. And finally I figured out, yes, this building was actually in a very cold spot. It was mostly shady. It was very cold in the winter, very little sun. And the isolation effect was higher than the effect in the summer to save actually the air condition energy. Very, very strange in that respect, but reality. And then there is a fourth effect, which is, for me, when I would be now in a sales conference, the number one argument. Because everybody understands that it's very simple. You find office spaces, especially this building here, very nice office space, but if you go in the offices, you would find on the window very seldom people sitting there. Heat and glare. So usually, the first 1.5, 2 meters, nobody is sitting. So when I asked the building owner or the landlord or the lessee, how much do you pay per square meter? And here in this building, I don't know the cost, but I know Oslo is about, in downtown Oslo, 30 euro per square meter. Easy for prime location. London up to 150 pounds per square meter. So my calculation is very simple. You pay every month 30 euro for this square meter, and about 3 square meters per window are not used. Just get me right. 90 euro per month you waste. Installation of multifilm, average, not too fancy, would be maybe 650 euro for the customer for this one window. 8 months, break even. And once you would have multifilm on this window, you can sit directly there and there is no glare and there is no heat. That means you can either optimize your space or you can limit the space you rent. So you can have smaller offices and save some money. This is for me, from a salesman point of view, from a sales point, the fantastic one. Because everything else is a little bit too complicated. Oh, well-being of, my people, they just, what should it, no, it's a fact. You can calculate it very simple, break even, return of investment, directly there. We have seen on the bigger scale in this building here, the bigger return of investment came with the energy saving. Very interesting to see it in live here. It's the first time, by the way, that I'm in this building. And I see today, hopefully, all of the products which you did 3 years ago. When was it, 3 years ago? 4 years ago, yeah. So that's number one argument for me. Now, how does it turn into a product? We can have, of course, big projects like here, doing whole buildings, but usually it starts very simple. This is my 5 extra minutes now, which you said. Just to make it right, the first solution is, in this little box, there are 3.4 meters of drop possible. 3.4 meters. And actually, very often in a retrofit situation, you are not allowed to put any holes in any frame or any window. Your landlord would say, no. You don't drill any holes in my window. So these systems, because it's so light and so compact, we can glue it to the frame. Glue, and also we can, once you move out, you can take it off. But actually, it's a very easy fix, very easy to retrofit. Usually, our customers that do first 1 or 2 offices as a retrofit, and then they get with the real system afterwards. So this is the first step in a very compact system. This is also how we call it, compact line. But you see here different applications, all shapes and possible installation methods. I told you before about the very high typical hotel lobby situation or a headquarter situation of a company. Opposite pool blinds is something which more and more you have buildings with an atrium on top, in the middle. And here we have special solutions, we call it countable opposite pool blinds. You will see later in the video a very interesting installation. That's our Heathrow Airport, actually. Here we have a typical, I don't know how you call it, winter garden. Is it also an Norwegian word, winter garden situation? And here a very funny one. The customer wanted that it comes out of the floor. It means it's a bottom up. All possibilities in that respect. We do also selectively textiles, but only the best textiles which you have. Some of the textiles that come very close to the reflection factor of multifilm installation, of course, usually not the same connectivity to outside. There is always a trade-in. There are feature benefits. Of course, the textile looks more homely. Multifilm product is a very technical product. It's a problem solution product. So we do textiles from time to time. And something which is, especially in such a building, you would not be allowed to put advertisement outside on such a building like here. You are not allowed, usually by public law, to put anything outside, but you can put it inside. So we are able to do a sort of printing. It's not a printing, it's a supplementing into the plastic material. And that actually has a very long life, and you can do your advertisement. Of course, multifilm products comply and would fit to any standard of automatization. I don't know which standard we have used here in the building. It's a Somfy system, all the RTS system, or what did we do? All IO. Okay. Yeah. References, the list is endlessly. We are in the market since over 35 years. So in Germany, there are endless buildings. But actually, the bigger market for us in references is also Holland, Netherlands. Hundreds of schools have all multifilm because it's a perfect situation with all these digital whiteboard systems. You cannot keep the children the whole day in the darkness. So it's a perfect situation that you have still a very natural light. You have enough dampening of the light, and then there is enough contrast on the whiteboard to teach the children actually the whole day with the blinds down. Yeah, internationally in Europe, we have worldwide at least 50 airports, I think, which are fully equipped with multifilm, and usually glass buildings with a lot of architectural glass. Retrofit usually situations where the people suffer from the heat. 30. Yes. Yeah, see. So surprisingly, and this was the reason actually why I bought this company here, I suffered my whole life from cheap imports from Asia, from China. And there I have a company which actually the number 3 market for us is Asia. It means our multifilm product is actually exported to Asia by air freight paid by the customer. So when I heard that, I thought, oh, that mustn't be too bad if the customers pay their own air freight to fly the product made for them on size to install it in buildings in Beijing or in Korea. Here I brought a very interesting reference. A company, Aramco, maybe some of you know, it's the biggest company, I think the most valuable company in the world. It's an oil producer in Saudi Arabia. And we work since a couple of years with them on pilot projects. And we achieved now that in January, the chief engineers for energy optimization, they actually took a business case from multifilm and presented it in a Chicago conference, the air conditioning conference. That is this paper which he presented, the people from Aramco. This is just a 100% cutout of their presentation here. I will focus then on the issues. Of course, they presented multifilm and all our argumentation. I don't repeat that. Now, this is the building they talk about. They have huge issues with Claire. It's in Dammam on the east side of Saudi Arabia. They have many of these buildings, about 400. But in this specifically, actually, they have a very high sick rate of the employees because they are so with not heat. It's Claire, a Claire issue. So people have actually issues with eyes, and they would change a job, and they will leave, and they will ask for other workplaces. So they have a real problem. So we did a pilot case with them. First of all, they are very scientific. They wanted to know simulations and does it really make sense? So we took the software, ESPO software. I don't know whether this is the name also here or the software here in what do you call it here?
It's the same. ESPO is a simplified version of either ICE.
Yeah, so it's the same. So we also used that software. We did a calculation and the simulation of this one floor, and this was the energy saving per year. Similar from the results which actually we have found here in that building. And they took it even further. They have actually in a room, they put sensors in, and they have taken for 4 weeks. That's the installation of the system, and then they have the sensors, and then they measured everything nicely also over this period. And the bottom line is that they have, even with energy cost of only 7 cents in Saudi Arabia, 7 cents per kilowatt hour, their return of investment for energy saving only was about 4 years. And they also took the argument of the workplace savings, of the square meter saving. So there they would come down, say, a break-even point of 2 years. So that's the case which they presented. Very interesting. We go further now with them. Very positive result, and I hope someday I get a full contract of Aramco. And then I would come with a private jet here next time. but they have real issues. You know, in these Middle East countries, you have a lot of buildings which have been built around 2000 or up to 2010, where with cheap glass, they all look nice. All these buildings in the Middle East, some of you know it. You go down Dubai, and half of these buildings look beautiful, but I would never like to work in them or anything, because this is enormous heat and glare issues. So, as the end of my presentation, I have here a video which is for me, a very nice one, because it's a big project. We had 3 years ago, time is running, in Nijmegen in Holland. The new university extension of Nijmegen has decided to make the whole building, the whole campus, in multifilm.
The campus of the Dutch Radboud University Nijmegen got one more highlight, the Maria Montessori building. Inbo architects created a multifunctional low-rise building that fits perfectly into the landscape, with lots of wood, light colors, and large glass elements. An open and light ambience was built, an inspiring space for teaching, meeting, and relaxation. In accordance with the energy-neutral building concept, the Leo protection systems offered the suitable sun protection. Multi-film roller blinds combine optimal glare protection, a clear view to outside, heat protection, and energy saving in one system. Thanks to the weatherproof interior installation, the roller blinds are maintenance-free and the exterior facade remains unaffected. 760 electric roller blinds shade the inner facade, some of them up to 7 meters high, with only 75mm large cassettes. With anodized profiles, the roller blinds blend in inconspicuously with the interior facade. Films with different light transmissions ensure optimal glare protection and the best lighting conditions. The multi-wave pleating creates a homogeneous appearance on the facade. Special multi-sky systems shade the 1,000-meter square atrium. Over 200 horizontal opposite pull blinds, 1.2 meters wide and 3.6 meters long, underspan the roof glass. The heat-protecting films ensure a temperature-controlled interior climate and, thanks to their transparency, maintain the light character of the atrium. Multifilm, your partner for tailor-made sun and glare protection.